Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing fantastic today. Another day of learning awakes us all. You are on with John Register, and we're going through the book 10 Power Stories to Impact Any Leader. Journal Your Way to Leadership Success. This is the book that I wrote right at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was for primarily for our U.S. ambassadors who were struggling with how to lead effectively their teams when many ambassadors were being kicked out of their countries, and they had no way to get expats back home to the United States because other countries were shutting down, while we in America were trying to still figure out if this thing was real and coming to our shores. So I gave 10 of my own stories in order to help them with 10 of their stories, so they have a story to tell and share to help lead their people. I believe that stories are very important that we tell, not made up fictitious stories, but the stories of the day that begin to empower, impact, emote people to change and to lead. So that's why I wrote the book, 10 Power Stories to Impacting a Leader. What we're doing is we're going through each one of the chapters and why I felt that was a really good title or chapter or something that I might be able to share or read. These are stories that I generally do not share with when I'm doing my keynote speeches. Usually when I'm working with my clients, I have specific stories about them, or I share a story that links me to them so they can move their audiences forward. I was working with one client and it's a big hotel chain, and we were talking about a story around how to build or increase revenue, for example. And I gave them something that I thought would be, increase their revenue by 20%. And so those are stories which I will share on how to do those things. I won't get into it here, but I wanted to go through number two. The story that we're talking about today is a story around entitlement. And that is, it was kind of a humor story. Chapter number two is on entitlement. I should be able to put these up and get in the slide presentation so we can actually read part of these things. The premise is, and I will not read the story, but the premise of this story is I saw an old Nike commercial. It's a fantastic commercial, very well done. Lisa Leslie, she is dribbling a basketball. She is an amazing basketball player and Olympian, I think 4-time Olympian on the U.S. team as the USA women's team dominated. So she goes up in slow motion and she slams the basketball down through the goal. And then the caption for the Nike commercial is, "You don't win silver, you lose gold." And I was like, yeah, that's right. Until I won the silver medal. So I'm like, wait a minute now. It didn't feel like I lost gold. I was very proud of the medal that I had won. So I began thinking about why did I go along with what the commercial had said? Why was I so in tune with that? You don't win silver, you lose gold. I think those are great words, but I don't think they're true words. And here's why. Because I believe that puts us, for our discussion on topic today, is in an entitlement position. Why is it that losing gold, as it's put, is something to be disdained? Did not the two individuals put forth the effort to win? Should everybody win? As when I was coming up, and I'll talk a little bit about my children were coming up, the parents that were on the soccer field, the basketball court. We don't we hear things like we all are winners, or we deserve to win that game. I think we have to be cautious about saying statements like that because it seems to me that we dishonor the person that put in or rightfully won the gold medal. Now, I'm not talking about an unfair advantage of entitlement. I'm not talking about the people who are, for example, trying to get their kids to compete for a better school, so they cheat to get their kids into school, right? So they're manipulating test scores, or they're paying under the table to do stuff, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm saying when everything is equitable, and we have a 100-meter dash, and we all both have we have the same start line, that there's a winner, and there's somebody who gets second, and there's somebody who gets third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. That's what I'm talking about. So I know that people go to either entitlement for, like, for example, maybe housing, right? We have the government come in with redlining housing so that certain people got the premium choice of the land, and the government said that those that they didn't think were highly favorable got the least part of the land, and we still see those equitable disparities right now in our country. I'm talking about when all things are equal at the Olympic Games, and folks are going across the finish line. Who won? Who got second? Who got third? I'm not even talking about, in civil rights, where my family was very involved in the civil rights movement of entitlement. Right, that was one of the things they were talking about: equity in how we build a nation. I believe that we have to look at how we make things equitable for the outcome of moving a community to the highest level that it can compete at. When we begin to manipulate a system and then justify the manipulation of that system to make and appease our own selves, to say that we all have this advantage, we dumbify, stupefy the entity or the goal that was being impressed upon to get. So here's one more example before I get into the entitlement on the book. I was recently at a rodeo, first rodeo I've ever been to. And at the rodeo, they have this competition called mutton busting. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Hilarious. So for those that don't know, I'm sure the rodeo people are going, yay, right now they hear this. But for those that don't know, mutton busting is when you got these little tykes, kids, they're like under 10, I think. I couldn't really see them, but look like they're under 10. And they put these massive helmets on them. They put them on the back of a large sheep. And these kids dig their hands in the side of the wool of the sheep. And when the gate is open, the sheep start running off. And these kids are trying to hold on for dear life. And usually about after 10 meters, they kind of fall off this way or fall off that way. Well, after I was kind of watching this thing and laughing, watching these kids fall to the ground, this one girl gets on and then comes across the loudspeaker, and she digs her hands into the side of the sheep, and she digs those heels into the back and hind side quarters. And when the sheep is let off and starts flying down the arena, she stays on. She stays on the entire time. I'm like, holy cow, this gal's got it. She went to the other end. I'm standing up applauding after seeing all 9 other guys fall off, boys fall off this sheep. 10th one, she goes to the other end. At the end of the competition, they award trophies. And I'm just like, man, I'm seeing all these amazing, huge trophies that are larger than the kids that are down on the floor. And I'm like, what's she going to get? Because I see like these trophies that are down there. She gets the same trophy as the kids that fell off at 10 meters. She went all the way across the arena, got a standing ovation, and her reward was the same as everybody else. And I believe that that's not right if we're measuring that. So I get it. Parents nowadays, they want to make sure that no one's feeling bad about not having lost. But when as a professional speaker, I don't win all my competitions of trying to get speaking engagements. Sometimes I lose those engagements. I don't get a part of the earnings of the other person that won the event. If the client wanted somebody else, the client wanted somebody else. So I think this story of entitlement really is imperative for us. Final thought before I get into some of the thing is around credit. Credit is a form of entitlement, because entitlement is having access or earning something that you have not kind of done the work for, or gaining access to something that you haven't done the work for. And so when we use credit, we are deferring or getting instant gratification for something that we haven't earned, or we haven't earned the money for. So it's just better to use debit. I understand why credit comes, and understand why people want to use it to increase their buying power. But it's amazing to me that we want to go in debt to increase our buying power. This doesn't make sense to me. So here's one of the things in the book. We talk about in this story, we're talking about the amazing Nike commercial, and I get it. Everyone wants to win first place, and I say here, I've got to get my glasses. I don't have my glasses here with me. No one is saying, for the first part of it, I did not go to the Paralympic Games saying I wanted to win second place. Let's get that clear. I won the top spot. I won the gold medal. But when I won the silver medal, I also could honor the person who won the gold medal and stood atop the podium, that being Mr. Lucas Christen of Switzerland. I can also honor Victor Goranson, who finished in third place, and those who finished in fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. I can honor them because we all earned what we earned. We earned what we earned. I know people, and maybe you know people, that have said it's all about the hard work. You just have to work harder. No one's entitled. You just have to work harder. Well, have you ever met somebody who's worked hard and has everything? I mean, they got it all. And then when you meet another person, and that person has worked hard but has very little, or you've met a person that has not worked so hard and has everything, or not worked so hard and has nothing. So it's not about hard work. And yes, I understand and know that there are times when the more access and things that we gain to, and the more knowledge that we might be having, is I want to work less to gain more. I get that. I'm talking about things being equal on the play. Welcome, listener. I'm not sure who that is, but welcome. We're talking about entitlement in the book, 10 Power Stories to Impact Any Leader, Journal Your Way to Leadership Success. This book I wrote for our U.S. ambassadors right ahead of the pandemic. So we have that, and so I have to be able to, in winning the silver medal, is to honor the gold medalist. If I don't, why do I think I'm entitled to win? When I came back home, people said, "Oh, you were so close to winning the gold medal. You should have won the gold. You should have won gold. Oh my gosh, I should have won gold. If I should have won gold, I would have won gold. I didn't. I won silver, and it took me 20 years to put myself in a position. I had to lose a leg, have one dream thwarted of going to the Olympic Games, and another dream rise of becoming a two-time Paralympic athlete and a silver medalist. That process was 20 years. I earned that silver medal. So that's one thing. That's on the first part of the page, on the entitlement section of the book. The second thing I kind of highlighted here was, it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me to see parents struggle with the question of this in entitlement. As they say, everybody wins a medal. But when I watch a T-ball game before the pandemic, I was just out there just walking around the the park. T-ball was going on. I like baseball, and so I just kind of just sat there from a distance watching the game for a little while. And afterward, when all the kids ran to get oranges from their parents, there were runs being scored. It's like 100 runs going one way. The kids were all asking the parents who won the game. Well, no one was keeping score, or not supposed to be keeping score. And you should have seen them parents fidgeting trying to answer this question on who won, because no one's. Some people were saying, "Well, we just don't keep score. Everybody's a winner." Ray Romano, the comedian, I remember him saying one time on one of his, I don't know if it was a special or something I saw him on, and he was coming into a baseball game. He was in the stands. His brother was coming up and saying, "Hey, who's the parents were all talking about everything was there for fun, and kids were just having fun." His brother comes up, yells out, "Who's won the game, Ray?" And Ray says, "Oh, we're up 9-7." And the parent says, "We're just out here to have fun. There is no score." And then Ray said, "Well, we're having we are having 9 more moments of fun than they are, or 2 more moments of fun than they are." And I thought that was amazing. I thought it was hilarious, right? Because the kids are keeping count. The kids are keeping score while we're trying to tell them not to keep score. I thought that was absolutely fascinating. So with that, we have, they were asking questions like, how many runs did we get? How many goals did we score? Who won the game, mom and dad? It was even more comical to watch the parents fidget as they, try to do this response. It was great. Then I wrote down with Ray Romano. I didn't even realize I had this in there. I remember the comic Ray Romano, who said that he showed up to his nephew's little league game. As he walked across the grass towards the bleachers, he saw his brother in the stands and yelled out to them, "Who's winning?" One parent interrupted the conversation, said, "We don't keep score in this league. It's all about having fun." To which Ray's brother yelled out back, "Well, our team is having fun 9 more times than the other team." So I love that, right? Because they keep score, we keep score. The sentiment comes from when we hear comments like, "We should have won that game. We were better than that team. We just didn't show up today." We think we're entitled to something that we haven't earned. And that's the point of entitlement in this book. We're entitled to something that we have not yet earned. It also shows up when we see everyone getting a participation medal, as we said a little bit earlier. So it's okay to learn early in life that there are winners and those who do not win. Because later on in life, you're going to have contracts that you're going to win or you're not going to win. So we need to teach that early on, because the rest of the world outside of the United States knows that. And so we have to put our children in position to know it's okay. If somebody gets across the line first, that's fine. What we have to also protect, I think, for me, is not allowing or adjusting for someone that has a head start, because just because a person has a head start in life doesn't mean they're the smartest person to be put into the position. They just have a head start. They have an entitlement. We all have entitlement around certain aspects of our life. So we have to, in my opinion, again, is to ensure that we are in that position to where we are earning, in the mindset that we're earning what we earn. So those are my thoughts for today on the book, 10 Power Stories to Impacting a Leader, Journal Your Way to Leadership Success. At the end of each chapter, I always put a journaling consideration. So the journaling considerations for number 2 is write down the memories that came to mind as you read the story, right? The second one is, do you recall a time when you worked hard but did not earn the top spot? How did this experience fuel you? What did it teach you? What do you think about when you hear the word entitlement? What are some of the characteristics of that person or image that comes into your mind when you hear that word? And then think about when you have been entitled to something that you had not earned, right? These things can help us identify how we can help and lead others in business, as executives, because we have to know ourselves, I believe, first. You can find the book, 10 Power Stories to Impacting Leader, for our session next week, which will be on chapter number 3. We're going to talk about you need to catch up. You just need to catch up. It's another funny story about with my son. And you can find it at johnregister.com, and just go to the resource section, I think, on the website, and you can just, download it, and we will send you a copy of the book, and you can read it. It's a very short read. It's fun. It's a fun read, and it does have questions after each chapter to challenge you, the reader, and challenge me, the author, to move the needle. Right? Most people just don't take action. I'm at the National Speakers Association meeting here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we realized that most people just really don't take action on all the information. I got pages of notes that I've taken. Will I take action on them? So yeah, and I may chat about that in another session on how I actually take action. It may come up in one of the book chapters as well. Thank you for being on. If you have a comment, I'll stay on for just a few seconds. I see I have one person on, at least one person in the thing. Usually when I get off, there are like 5 or 6 of the people that are there. If you have a question as we move the time clock forward at the 6 o'clock hour, just pop in the chat real quick. I'll stay on for a couple seconds, and would love to just to hear your thoughts and what you are thinking about right now, and then we'll get ready to wrap it up. So, as a professional speaker, I love this topic and challenging and getting people to have dialogue and discussion about this topic of entitlement. And we have this, as I go through now, most of the time, right, what I'm talking about these days is people's burnout, because it's really tough out there right now. It's really hard. We have gone through a period of time where we just want it to be over, but we are really struggling, and so those are the things we're talking about right now out there in the speaker world. So have a great day, everybody. Our mantra here at Inspired Communications International, my company, is to go forth, inspire your world. Why? Go is your command, forth is your direction, inspire is your vocation, because only you can do this work, and world because it's in your sphere of influence that you will do this work. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you back here next week on another episode of 10 Power Stories Impacting the Leader, Journey Your Way to Leadership Success, Conversations with the Author. All right, bye for now.